Today we are going to discuss about Oracle applications patching. Okay, so first of all, before everything, so before going to each and everything, before going to the concept, I would like to discuss what is a patch. Okay, so before that, I would like to ask you what is a bug.
The required, no, expected functionality of application stop to work or
Yes. So if the functionality is not working as expected, okay, it might be called as a bug. Okay, so it might not work because of whatever the issue it is, because of some database issue, because of some application issue, because of the file version issue, whatever it is. Okay, so if your application is not working as expected, then you can consider it as a bug. Okay, so bugs are nothing but small errors, software malfunctions in your software. Okay, not only for your Oracle applications or Oracle database. So for each and every product, there will be some sort of patches which are going to fix the bugs. Okay, which are going to fix the bugs in your Oracle applications, not in your software. Okay, so first of all, what is a patch? Patch is nothing but it is a set of programs, a set of instructions to fix a particular problem to enhance the particular existing bug in the Oracle uh, in your product. Okay, so to fix your bugs, so you will need to apply patches. Okay, these patches are going to fix the bugs. Okay, after applying them. Okay, so a patch is nothing but it is basically a collection of files. Okay, it is a collection of files, it is a collection of updated files. Okay, so that file may be whatever the file it is. The file may be a library file, or a PLSQL file, or SQL file, LDT file, text file, configuration file, a template file, so on, whatever it is. It might be an environmental file, whatever it is. Okay, so when we apply a patch, okay, when we are applying patch, it means that we are copying all these files into your uh, Oracle application, into your software location. Okay, why do we need to apply patches? So we will be applying patches because to fix an existing issue. Okay, like just to fix some bugs. Okay, so to add a new feature or functionality to your existing software. Okay, so to bring new language files to Oracle applications. Yesterday, while discussing about multilingual tables, we have discussed about language related patterns. So if you want to add some language to your Oracle applications, so you are supposed to apply some patches. Okay, so that patches will add an additional language to your Oracle applications. Like that. So to bring new language files to your Oracle applications, so applying the latest product enhancements. Okay, latest product enhancements means the latest functionalities kind of thing. Okay, so the latest versions of the utilities or functionalities, what is. So upgrade to a higher maintenance level. So if you want to upgrade to a higher maintenance level, so you are going to apply these patches. So to determine the source of an issue. So sometimes when developers are developing some code, they might not be able to found the issue. So if there is any problem in the coding, in the seeded code, okay, in the seeded code, they might not be able to find the issue. So at this point of time, they will raise an SR. So after raising an SR, Oracle people will ask you to apply so and so tracing patches. When you apply that kind of tracing patches, they will be able to find where the issue is. Okay. So for this purpose also, you will be applying patches. So first of all, what is a patch? A patch is nothing but it is a collection of files. So when you apply patch, these files will be copied to your Oracle application. Okay, to the software location. So why did we need to apply patches? We will be applying patches because to fix the existing bugs in Oracle application, to add a new feature or functionality, to go to the higher level of upgradations, that we mean upgrading, to find the source of an
Santosh,
issue. Yeah.
Santosh, your voice is very low here.
Is it clear now?
Still, like can you please bit increase your this volume?
Now we will discuss how frequently we will apply patches in Oracle applications. Okay. So basically, an apps DBA have to perform patching activity 3 to 4 times a week. Okay. It is completely dependent on the total number of instances what you are managing. So if you are having if you're having one production instance, like one production instance, you might get patching for every 4 to 5 days a week. Okay. Sorry, 4 to 5 days, once in a 4 to 5 days. Okay. So if you are having, if you're managing multiple instances, then you might be getting patching for 2 days. Like it depends on the environment wise. Okay. So it depends on the environment wise, it depends on the errors what you're having, it depends on the stabilization and all these things. Okay. So basically, like it is a very frequent task for an apps DB. Okay. At least in a week you will be doing patching for 2 times. Okay. So basically, like these 3 to 4 times we will be doing in non-production instances. So once when we get a production downtime window, so we will be applying patches in that particular specified downtime. So first we will have to apply patches in the non-production environments. Like first we have to apply test and then dev and then after UAT and then after production, like that. Okay. So this is the hierarchy for applying patches. So directly, if you face any issue in production, you shouldn't directly apply the patches in the production. So you have to make a particular sign-offs in different levels, like test, dev, UAT, and all. Okay. So if it is resolved, if the issue is resolved at the non-production instances, then only you'll have to move the patch to the production instances. Until and unless if the issue is not resolved, if you move the patch to the production instances, so it's waste of applying patch. Okay. Instead of uh, instead of fixing the issue, it might cause a new issue. Okay. Next, classification of patches. So classification of patches: tech stack patches, application patches, and database patches. So, what are the tech stack components in your Oracle applications? There are basically two types of components: app stack components and tech stack components, right? So, tech stack components are the components which contains Oracle homes in your Oracle application. Tech stack components are nothing but 10.12 Oracle home, 10.13 Oracle home, and RDBMS Oracle home. These three are called as tech stack Oracle homes in Oracle application. Okay? So you are supposed to apply patches on Oracle, these 10.12 and 10.13 Oracle homes also. Okay. So what is the utility you will use to apply an RDBMS patch? It is OPatch. Okay. So using OPatch, you will be applying patches on RDBMS Oracle home. In the same way, you will be using OPatch to apply patches on 10.12 and 10.13 Oracle home. Okay. So if you see any issues related to Apache server, so Oracle might ask you to apply patches on top of 10.13 Oracle home. So if you see any issues related to 10.1 forms server, then Oracle people might ask you to apply patches on top of 10.12 Oracle home. Okay. So whenever you are applying patches on these Oracle home, so you are supposed to apply using OPatch. Okay. So these are called as tech stack patches. Next, application patches. So these tech stack patches are there, right? These tech stack patches will not touch your Apple top. They will only copy new files to the Oracle homes. They won't copy new files to the Apple top or common top or database somewhere else. Okay, they will only copy new files to the Oracle home. Next, application patches. So when you are applying application patches, they will bring only new files to Apple top. Okay. So using OPatch, you will apply database patches. Using AD patch. AD patch means application DBA patch, or else you can also call it as auto patch. Using auto patch or AD patch, you will be applying application patches. Okay. So whenever you are applying application patches, they'll bring new files to Apple top and database. Okay, they will not bring new files to the common top, or they will not bring new files to the Oracle homes. They will not touch these kind of other things. They will only touch your Apple top, or else they will only touch your database. Okay. So internally, when patch calls AD admin, it may copy some files to common top. Okay. And next, database should be up and application should be down. So to apply tech stack patch, okay, to apply tech stack patch, uh, let us assume you are applying a tech stack patch on top of RDBMS Oracle Home. So you have to bring the database down, right? In the same way, if you are applying patch on top of 10.12 or 10.13, your respective server should be down. If you are applying on 10.12, form should be down. If you are applying on 10.13, Apache should be down. This is the case. Okay. In the same way, whenever you are applying patches on top of applications, like whenever you are applying application patches, the application needs to be down. Your application needs to be down. It means your patching require downtime. Next, database patches. When you are applying database patch, it will bring new files only to the database. It will not touch applications and textile components. To apply database patches, both database and application should be running. These are very, very rare cases. Next, different types of patches. Okay, these different types of patches in Oracle application. Next, so the first one is bug fix patch. Okay, first one is bug fix patch. So as we already know, what a bug fix patch will do, it will fix an existing bug. That's it. Next, new feature patch. So while downloading a patch, we will not be able to know whether it is a bug fix patch or new feature patch or interoperability patch. We will come to know about this until when we go through the README document or when we go through the associated Metalink ID. Okay. So new feature. So it's an it adds a new functionality to your Oracle applications. Okay. So interoperability patch. So interoperability patch is nothing but they will make some compatible. See, I'll tell you one basic example for this. So let us assume your applications are in release 12.11 and your database is in release 11.107. Okay. So by default, when you install release 12.11 application, the default database which comes along with your application is 11.107. Okay. So at this point of time, you just want to upgrade your applications to 12.13. Okay. So your 12.13 application might not support the existing database version, that is 11.107. So at this point of time, so what your upgrade document says is first upgrade the database and then upgrade your application. Okay. So this is what your upgrade documents is. So now what you will have to do? So you will have to upgrade the database first. You have to upgrade the database first. So after upgrading the database, you are supposed to apply some patches on top of applications to make the upgraded database work fine with your existing applications. Okay. So that are called as interoperability patches. See, you can once if you go through this, you can understand. To make the current version of
Santosh,
Oracle
when we say
application,
upgrade the database first, hello,
one second, one
yes,
second.
Santosh, when we say upgrade the database, so the data in a database, is it going to make changes to the existing tables and procedure functions, and then only we should be able to upgrade the application, correct? Or then
It
only it
might
will
change.
be working.
It might change. It will change actually.
What is that, Santosh?
It will change. It will change.
Okay, okay, it will change, right?
Yeah. So when you read this, you can clearly understand. To make the current version of Oracle application compatible with a newer version of the database or a technology stack component. Okay. So to make the existing version of the applications work fine with the upgraded database, it means the newer version of the database or a tech stack component. Okay. So that is what it says. Next, diagnostic patch. So as I already discussed, so tracing, these are called as tracing patches. So diagnostic patches are applied basically to find the source of an issue. Next, translation patches are nothing but the language patches. So okay, so we will apply, if you apply, we will apply translation patches whenever we install any new language kind of thing. Next, upgrade is nothing but it upgrades the entire Oracle application. So if your patch type is an upgrade patch, so it fixes the existing problems and it will upgrade all the components. Next, documentation. So it will updated Oracle applications online help. So it will update some some kind of help related files. These are nothing but the patch type. Now I will discuss you about patch release formats. Patch release formats are nothing but, so generally in your Oracle database, what are the patch release formats? You'll be seeing one-off patches, you'll be seeing interim patches, you'll be seeing, of course, one-off and interim both are same. So you'll be seeing CPE patches, you'll be seeing PSC patches, you'll be seeing SPE patches, you'll be seeing patch set patches. All these are patch type formats. So here also you'll be seeing all these types of formats. You'll be seeing standalone patch. So standalone patches is nothing but they'll fix a new functionality, they'll fix the existing issue, or they'll add a new functionality. Okay. Next, high priority patch. So identified by Oracle development as having an impact that is broad enough to merit application by all customers who have installed the effective product. So let us assume you have a couple of, okay, let us assume 100 customers have installed a product from Oracle applications. So one user reported some kind of issue related to the product. Okay. So which highly affects all the, excuse me, which is highly affecting some other modules or the same module itself. Okay. So at this point of time, Oracle releases high priority patches and it will inform all the customers who are using that particular product. So please go ahead and apply these patches, as this is going to fix these kind of issues. And if you are not going to apply these kind of patches, they will tell you this will be the impact if you are not going to apply. Here comes the main important thing, Minipack. So Minipack is nothing but you just leave high priority. So standalone patch is nothing but it fixes a specific issue or adds a new functionality. Okay. Minipack is nothing but a consolidation of patches for a product. Okay. Let us assume there is a product called as AP product. So there are 5 issues related to AP product. So there are not 5, like let us assume there are 50 issues which are related to AP product. So at this point of time, so if one customer faces many issues related to the AP product, so instead of giving the individual patches to the customer, what Oracle does is, so they will consolidate all the one-off patches which are related to one product. Okay, they'll consolidate means they will integrate all the patches which are related to one particular product, all the mini packs, sorry, all the one-off patches which are related to one product, and they will release it as a mini pack. So mini pack is nothing but it is a collection of one-off patches. Okay, one mini pack equals to collection of multiple one-off patches, that's it, which are related to one product. Product is nothing but AP, GL, like that. Module is nothing but finance, SCM, CRM, like that. Okay. Next, mini pack. Yeah, mini pack is done. Family pack. Family pack is nothing but a consolidation of a set of mini packs and other patches for a product family. Subsequent family packs supersede previous versions. Family packs are cumulative. Okay. See, collection of mini packs is nothing but family pack. I can say it in a simple word. Collection of mini pack is equal to family pack. Okay. So the collection of mini packs are there, right? The collection should be only for a specific product, not for only for a specific family, not for a different family. If you consider finance family, AP, GL, AR is one family. So AP mini pack plus GL mini pack plus AR mini pack is equals to one family pack, finance family pack, like that. So what I'm going to tell you is, so standalone patches are nothing but interim patches which are going to fix an issue. Mini pack is nothing but mini pack equals to multiple standalone patches or multiple interim patches. So family pack equals to mini pack plus mini pack which are related to one particular family. Next, family consolidated upgrade patch. So all upgrade related high priority patches consolidated from all the products within a product family. Family consolidated update patches are released as needed. The release notes list the most recent family packs. So collection of family packs is nothing but family consolidated upgrade. So if there are two families, uh, SCM and CRM. So one the family pack which is related to SCM and the family pack which is related to CRM. In the same way, there will be family packs for each and every family, right? So if you collect all of them, then it is called as family consolidated upgrade. So you can see it by the name family consolidated upgrade patch. It means this patch is going to upgrade all the products in all the families. So this is going to upgrade only for one family. This is going to upgrade only for one particular product. This is going to update for only one particular file, like that. So release update patch is nothing but it is a combination of all the family packs for a specific release. It means nothing but it is a upgrade. It is an upgrade kind of thing. Like if you want to go from release 12 1 to 12 3, like that.
Did you anytime face such issue, Santosh? Like, it didn't skip the patch and, it was troubling you or something of that kind?
What I didn't get what kind of issue.
It's the scenario what I said, you said, it will skip the
It will
existing.
automatically skip. We don't have nothing to do about it.
Uh-huh.
If you
No,
are
I'm asking like,
if you
did
are
you ever face any such issue like, it didn't skip the mini pack and, it was while applying the patch, it has troubled you.
it won't like that kind of issues like you will not face in AD patch because like it is well coded, right? So
Okay.
it will find if the patch is already applied or not. If the patch is not applied, then only it is going to move the patch to the application. Until and unless it will not apply the patch in your application.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah. So now we will discuss about patching tools and related information. So using OPatch, you will be applying patches in your database, right? So once you apply a patch using OPatch, you will be able to roll back the patches. Okay. So using OPatch, so usually you will be applying textwork patches with the help of OPatch. Next, coming to applications. So you will AD patch is a utility using which you will apply application related patches. So you can also call AD patch as auto patch. Okay. So it is the one which is used to apply patches on top of Oracle e-business suite or database. So with the help of auto patch, you can also add new languages to the Oracle application installations and new products to the Oracle application installation. So you can download the patches from My Oracle support. So before applying the patch, your auto patch will validate the version of the file in Oracle application. So if I already discussed this, so auto patch validate the file versions in Oracle applications. So if on-site file version is higher than the patch file version, then auto patch skips that file. Auto patch will only copy if patch file version is higher than on-site file version. Okay, on-site is nothing but your Oracle existing application. Okay, are you getting the point or not? If the version of the file which is existing in your Oracle application is higher than the patch file, your AD patch is not going to copy that file. Okay, it is only going to copy the file which are having the lowest version of the application. Oh, sorry, lowest file in the application version. So your auto patch is located in the AD top bin, as all AD utilities reside in AD top bin. So auto patch takes no action if a patch contains no new updates or files or database objects in your system. If auto patch detects a previously failed auto patch session, it will attempt to recover that session. Okay. So with the help of the restart file. The patch applied using auto patch cannot be rolled back because application patches will touch both application and database. So we have to make sure that we have recent backup of applications and database. If something going wrong, we can restore backups. Are you getting? So with the help of OPatch, you can roll back the patch what you have applied on top of Oracle Home. But with the help of AD patch, if you apply an application patch, it's not possible for you to roll back the application level patch because So your application patch is bringing some files to AppleTop, and it is bringing some, it is executing some files in the database. Okay. So the files which it copied to the applications AppleTop can be copied back. But what about the SQL statements which got executed in the database? So they cannot be rolled back, right? So that is the reason why it's not possible for to roll back an AD patch. So that is the reason why if if anything happens while applying patches, so you can restore the backup. So you have to maintain the latest backups for your applications and data.
Santosh, I have a question. See, if you use OPatch, okay, for the rollback, okay. So in database level also you will run some scripts to rollback, right?
Yes, 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 Prakash.
Similarly, if
Okay.
you apply AD patch, so it will do some changes in the database as well as in the APPL top, no, and it will do some changes in the database level also.
Yes.
So similar how the OPatch works, here also there should be some option. So there won't be any option like that?
No, no. Here there is no option like that.
Okay.
There is no
And this
option.
auto patch or AD patch, both are same.
Yes, auto patch or ready patch, both are same.
Okay, Santosh.
Okay. Next. Patch top, patch staging, and patch content. So patch top is nothing but where we so once when we unload so once when we download the patches from Oracle applications. Okay. So you will see, I will tell you what is patch top in the while showing practically. Okay. So patch staging is nothing but excuse me. Yeah. So patch staging is nothing but the place where we maintain all the standard patches. It means like once when we download the patch, so we'll keep all the patches at some location. So that location is called as patch staging. So if that particular patch staging is shared among all the locations, then you can copy, like it is easier for you to apply patches in multiple locations, in multiple instances. Next, patch content. So patch is nothing but it is, you already know, it is a collection of patch is nothing but it is a collection of files. When we apply a patch, it copies files to applications as well as database. Okay. So here you have to understand one thing clearly. In 11.5.10, we had three driver files CDG. After 11.5.10, only one combined driver file comes along with patch, that is U driver file. Okay, U driver file is nothing but it is a combination of CDG. So I will tell you what is the CDG. C is nothing but copy, D is nothing but database, G is nothing but generate. Okay. So in C phase, your patch will copy all the files to the applications. In D phase, whatever the database related files it copied to the applications or database, it will execute. Let us assume an SQL file. So SQL file is related to the database. It means you have to execute that SQL file in the database, right? So if it will copy that SQL files in C phase, so in database files, it will perform database related activities, like it will execute SQL, PLSQL kind of files. In G phase, it will generate. So if it is bringing a new form file, it will generate that particular form file. If it is bringing a new template file, it is going to configure the template file like that. So in gphase, it is going to generate. If it is bringing a message file, it is going to generate that message file. Okay. So indeed, before 11.5.10, if you are applying one patch, so if you are going to apply patch 123, so you have to perform C drive one time, you have to perform D drive one time, and you have to perform G drive one time. So it means if you are going to apply one patch, it means you have to apply the same patch for 3 times, each time for one phase for each time. So starting from 11.5.10 to 11.5.10, so there is a patch called, there is a driver called as U driver. So U driver is nothing but it is a combination of CDG. It will come once again in the document. I'll explain you over there also. Yeah. Previously we used to apply 3 times for single patch. Now combine to single driver file, that is U. So it's enough to apply patch for one time. Driver file is very important file. All the patch information will be in the driver file. So all the patch information means what are the files it is going to copy, what are the SQL files it is going to execute in the database, what are the form files it is going to regenerate, that kind of things. Driver file is very important. Auto patch modes.
Read the
uh,
driver file.
Prakash, please type. If you want to open and read the driver file, U driver file, you can see and check the content in the driver file. Okay. Next. So I'll ask you one question now. So how do you apply patch?
Okay.
How do you apply O patch in test mode? Is it possible to apply O patch in test mode? So here with the help of test mode, you can, instead of directly applying a patch, so you can check the integrity of the patch. Integrity of the patch is nothing but, so if you are going to apply this patch, so you can check if it is going to be successful or if it is going to be failed. Okay. So instead of applying the patch directly, if you perform a test mode for the patch, you can check whether the patch is going to be successful or not. Okay. Next, pre-install mode. So we will discuss this pre-install mode when we go for upgrading. As of now, it's not required. How to apply a patch? This is where we have to start. See, so first, basically 90% of your patch requests. Okay, 80. Okay, 80% of your patch requests will be coming either from your functional or technical guys. Okay, so 20% will be from your end. Okay, so 80% of the patch requests will be coming from your technical or functional guys. So whenever they have requested to apply so and so patch, okay. So the thing what you have to do is you have to check whether the patch is already applied or not. Okay, you have to check whether the patch is already applied or not. So how to check if a patch is already applied or not? So there is a table called, you have to connect as apps user. Okay, you have to connect as apps user. There is a table called AD underscore bugs, and there is a column in that bug underscore number. So you have to select bug underscore number from AD underscore bugs, where bug underscore number equals to patch number. Okay. So how do you check whether a patch is applied in OPatch, whether an OPatch is applied in Oracle Home or not? OPatch ls inventory pipe grep patch number, right? So it will grep from the inventory and it will display you whether the patch is applied or not. Here, so you have to query from one table called as AD underscore bugs. There are two tables from where you can see whether the patch is applied or not. The first one will be AD underscore bugs and the second one will be AD underscore applied underscore patches. Okay. But there is a difference between AD underscore bugs and AD underscore applied underscore patches cable. So I will tell you. But if you want to get the correct information about the patch, whether the patch got successfully applied or not, you can query from AD underscore bugs table the bug underscore number. Okay. Next, download the required patch from My Oracle support. So if it is either a generic or specific patch, whatever it is. Copy application patch from Linux box to WinXCP. Take backup of database and application, or else ensure you are having the latest backup of your applications and database. Perform the pre-health check. What is a pre-health check? Performing a pre-health check is nothing but checking whether before applying patches, before shutting down the applications, you have to check. Uh, it means before applying the patch, you have to check whether the applications are working fine at this point of time or not. Okay, I mean before applying a patch only you have to perform a health check. You have to submit a concurrent request. So if you submit a concurrent request, then it is nothing but if the concurrent request got successfully completed, then your applications are working fine. So because so if you enter your URL and if you get the login page, I mean if you are able to see the login page, it means that your Apache server is working fine. If you are able to open the forms, it means that form server is working fine. If you are able to submit a concurrent request and it got completed, it means that concurrent managers are working fine. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is, so if all these three are working fine, then your applications are working fine. This is nothing but a pre-health check. And post-health check is also same. So next, perform the pre-health check and then enable the maintenance mode. So how do you enable maintenance mode? With the help of AD admin, fifth option. Change maintenance mode is the option using which you will change the maintenance mode. Okay. So or else you can also execute this script. AD top 11 patch 11115 SQL AD setmd dot SQL enable. Okay. So if you want to enable maintenance mode, type enable. If you want to disable maintenance mode, type disable. Okay. After shutting down the maintenance mode, shut down the middle tier services. Okay, shut down the middle tier services. Unzip the patch. So open readme.txt and read whether it is having any prerequisites or post requisite patches or post installations, post patch installation steps or not. So after reading that, apply the patch using AD patch. Apply the patch using AD patch. So after applying the patches, so your AD patch will generate couple of log files. So you have to check for errors and warnings in the log file. And after that, so as you have initially performed, initially checked from AD underscore bugs table, so now also you have to check from the AD underscore bugs table if a patch got applied successfully or not. So if this query is going to return you the number of rows, then it means that your patch has been applied successfully. Okay. So if not, like there is some issue with the patch, you have to check for the
So,
log file and all. After that, you have to disable the maintenance mode. After disabling the maintenance mode, start the application, perform post health checks, and release the instance to customer.
Santosh.
Yes, yes, Aslaf.
So when we uh, enable this maintenance mode,
Okay.
okay, what actually is happening at the background, like is what is Oracle doing?
So anyhow, see, like here there are some cases. Anyhow, you are going to shut down the applications, right? So if you shut down the applications, what is going to happen? Any end user will not be able to connect to the application. Okay. Still, you are enabling maintenance mode because so there will be some background workflow jobs. So background jobs which will be running which are related to applications. So to stop them, you will be keeping your applications in maintenance mode. Okay. So some background functionalities, some workflow kind of activities will be running. Okay. To stop them, you will be enabling maintenance mode. So moreover, so if you enable maintenance mode, what happens is some users will be connecting through PuTTY, not PuTTY, sorry, Toad. Some users will be connecting through SQL Developer. So even though if your applications are down, they will be able to access the database, isn't it? So if you put the database in maintenance mode, they will not be able to access the kind of these these database with the help of Toad or SQL Developer. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'll show you an example patch and show you how to apply using AD patch. So first you have to source environmental file. So first, let us take an example. I'm going to apply this patch. Okay. So I'm querying from AD underscore bugs table. So nothing, no output is coming. So I have downloaded the required patch and copied to Linux. I have performed the pre-shell check. I have enabled maintenance mode using AD admin. Fifth option, I have shut down the application. I went to the patches directory, unzipped the patches. After unzipping the patch, you'll be getting a directory with the patch number. So we have to go to the patch number for readme and other related files. After going to the directory, just execute AD patch. So when you execute AD patch, it will ask you some questions. So whenever you are running AD admin, it is asking you some questions, right? In the same way, whenever you execute AD patch, it will ask you some questions. So like, what is the location of AD patch? What is the location of, what are the passwords of FND and system? What would be the patch directory? What would be the driver file of the patch driver file location? Total number of patch parallel workers and all this. After responding to the prompts correctly, so it is going to start the patches, applying patches. So after applying the patch, at last it is going to generate log files. It is going to generate two log files actually, adpatch.log and adpatch.lga. So these two are the log files which it will generate. So you have to grep for errors from that log file. If there are no errors,
The other log file name apart from that log?
.log, there will be one LGI file. I'll tell you what is the significance of LGI file. Okay, LGI.
LGI. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
LGI.
Okay.
After applying the patches, you have to disable maintenance mode, start the services, perform post health checks, confirm the patch is applied or not, and then release the instance to customer. Make sure before releasing the instance to customer, you have done a sanity test. Okay. These post health check and pre health checks are nothing but sanity tests. Now we are going to discuss what AutoPatch does. So all this time you are applying the patches, right? So what AD patch is doing, what AutoPatch is doing. So while applying patches, before that, like I'll take you an example. I'll show you an example how to apply patches. Okay. So currently there are no applications are not up and running. So now what I have to do, I have to enable maintenance mode. When I've started ADadmin, it will ask for a couple of questions. Fifth option, change maintenance mode. Enable maintenance mode before applying the patch, and after applying the patch, disable maintenance mode. Enable maintenance mode as of now.
We can do this.
Yes, Prakash, you're asking something.
Yeah. See, without starting the application, can we enable disable the maintenance mode?
The applications have to be down in order to enable maintenance or disable maintenance mode. Okay. So
Okay.
when
So always it should be
applications,
down.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, when applications are up and running, if you enable maintenance mode, what happens? Your applications will not work properly. As of now,
Okay.
I have enabled one maintenance mode, right? You know how to download a patch,
Yeah.
right? You know how
Yeah.
to,
From Metalink.
yeah. The same procedure, how you download a database patch. Yeah, there is a patch. copy this patch to /tmp. So now I am going to unzip this patch. So when I unzip a patch, what happens? I'll be getting a directory. If you want, LSS and LTS. This is the directory which I got now. Go into the directory. To go into the directory and list files, you'll be seeing multiple files. You'll be seeing readme.txt, you'll be seeing readme.html, you'll be seeing driver file. This is the driver file. Okay, this is the driver file. So now, how do you apply patch? Using AD patch. It is asking for Appletop patch log file. Next, no. Please enter batch size. So based on your patch size, you can view batch size. Okay. So if your patch is going to be huge, then you can increase the batch size, because batch size is nothing but the total number of background concurrent jobs running. As this is a small patch, I'm proceeding with 1000. This is the correct database. Yes. Password for system MEANEGER manager. Apps password is apps. Next, it is asking you where the patch has been loaded. It means this is the patch top directory. Okay, I said you right, patch top directory. This is the patch top directory. Patch top directory is nothing but the place where the driver file is existing. Okay, so in this directory only our patch driver file is existing, right? So this is called as patch top directory. So it is asking for the patch driver file. Always make a note. Patch driver file is nothing but u patch number dot drv. Okay. So what it is doing? It is applying the patches. It is determining the valid onsite file. It is internally calling it Java.
But okay. How about database, Santosh? Database is up and running.
Yes, database needs to be up and running in order to apply the patch. You are giving system password and apps password,
Okay. Up
right?
to only application has to be done.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what it is doing? It is updating current use snapshot. So you have to make a note of all these things, what it is doing and all. Okay. So what it generated two log files, adpatch.lgi, adpatch.log. So your adpatch.log file contains error information. So these are not errors. So these are message files. Okay, which contains. Okay, these are not errors. These are message files. You know how an error looks like, right? These are the errors. Okay. So these are the errors. Error while trying to read metadata from file, from jar file, no metadata entry. So but the thing is, you can ignore these kind of errors. You can ignore these kind of errors. So they are a meta.dat error. Okay. So and the thing is, they are moreover they are not coming while applying this patch. They are some other patch. So I have given same name, right? adpatch.la. That is the reason why it is displayed. VI patch name. So if you see, today is June 27th, right? July 25th.
Santosh,
Okay, okay. Just wait for 2 minutes. I'll give a break. Okay. And it also generated one LGI file. Okay. So when you open this LGI file, so you will be seeing the patches which are skipped. You will be seeing the patches which got skipped. Okay. So your log file contains the information which is related to errors and warnings, and your .lgi file contains the information which the patch skipped the files. Okay. So when discussing the AD patch concept, like previously we have discussed one thing. So if the existing file version is higher in your Oracle application than the patch version, okay, so your AD patch is not going to copy the files to Oracle applications, right? So how do you come to know whether ADPatch copied the file or whether ADPatch skipped the file? So when you open adpatch.lgi file, you can come to know. Open this file, go top. See, it is July 12th related information is also there. This is the old file. From this, from that file only we can come to know. I will show that information anyhow.
Satish, now, sorry, Santosh, now you applied which one? Is it one patch, no, mini pack or the,
It is just an interim patch, not a mini patch.
okay. Mhm.
So as of now, we have seen how to apply patches. So now I will tell you what auto patch does. Okay. So first it will read metadata and determine patch dependencies and requirements. So before applying the patch itself, it will upload the information, patch information to the database. So after that, it will read the patch driver file and reads product driver files like CDG driver files are there, right? Such kind of driver files it will read. So it will compare the versions. It will compare the versions of the files. So if the versions are lower, it will take backup of the existing files and it will copy the new files to the uh, application. So after that, it will archive files in libraries. So it will relinks executables. So it will generate forms, reports, messages, graphics, and Java archive related files. So generate, it is nothing but G phase. So copy phase, generate phase. So it will generate forms, reports, messages, graphics, and archive files. So it will compile invalid objects in the JSP files and invalid objects in the database. So it will update database objects. It will runs autoconfig whenever required. It will save patch information to the database. Okay. Next, copy driver. So see, like what are CDGU drivers? Copy driver is nothing but it will copy all the files from patch to Oracle applications. So database driver is nothing but it will in database driver what happens is like whatever the SQL files or PLSQL files, I mean the database related files. So whatever the database related files it copied to the applications, it will execute at the database level. Okay. And then in G phase, it will generate any forms, reports, graphics, or message files. Okay. So if it copied any message files or report file, it will generate in the D driver. So U driver is nothing but it is a combination of CDG driver. So U driver will be in the form of U patch number.drb. So while applying patch, you are supposed to submit this driver file to the AD patch. So whatever the actions which are specified in the U driver, your AD patch is going to do only that action. Okay, so if your U driver specifies to run autoconfig, your AD patch will not run AD admin. It will run autoconfig only, like that. So various log file locations related to patch. So what is the location of AD patch log files? What is the location of AD patch log files? It is Appletop admin SID log. Okay, so cd dollar Appletop admin SID log. Okay, ls-ltr. So what are these? AD admin log, AD patch dot log, AD patch dot lgi. So these are the worker log files. These are relinks. So your AD utilities related log file location is Appletop admin SID log. Basically, AD admin and AD patch logs will be stored in your Appletop admin SID log location. Okay. So now we are going to workers. One second, let me check for any other tab. So to download a patch, go to log into Oracle Metalink, go to patches and updates. At that location, view patch number and select your platform as Linux or whatever. So when you get the patch number, like click on the patch name, click on download, click on download. It downloaded the patch. So I'm just winseeping it. So as this is VMware, like the thing will be different. Okay. Now I will make it direct. Okay, the root location. Oh, 1 second. 264 MB. Okay. So now I'm going to apply this patch, AD patch. It is going to ask for some options for me. I'm giving the log file name. No. Patch number.drb when it asks for a driver file. What it is asking for total number of workers. So I will give 8 as default. See what it is doing? It is creating one table called as fn underscore install underscore process table. Okay. What it is doing again? It is dropping fn underscore install underscore process table, and it is dropping AD underscore deferred underscore jobs table. So what are these two tables? What are these two tables?
These two tables might have, the patch related information.
I will tell you. And what it done previously it compiled the invalid objects. Now what it is doing? It is updating the current view snapshot. And then what it is doing? It is purging some information. Okay. So what are all these things? Why patch is doing all these things? So first, whenever you are applying a patch, so your patch will internally, if there are any if there is any worker have to be started, if a workers has to be started, it means to do the background jobs. So to do the background jobs, your AD patch will start workers. Okay, to store the worker related information in the database. Okay, to store worker related information in the database, it will create two tables called as fn underscore install underscore processes and AD underscore deferred underscore jobs. What are the two tables? These two are the tables. fn underscore install underscore process and AD underscore deferred underscore jobs. So AD patch will create these two tables and see, let us assume you are going to start a patch. So you have given total number of workers as 8, right? So it is going to start 8 workers to do background related job. Okay, like let us assume SQL script has to be executed. Who will execute that script? Your worker is the one which is going to execute the script. Okay, are you getting? So let us assume your AD patch is going to generate a form file. So who is the one who is doing the actual job in the backend? Your worker. Okay. So your AD patch will start the workers to do the background jobs, like to execute SQL statements, to generate form files and all those things. Okay. So your AD patch will create two tables called as FND installation processes and AD defer jobs tables. Okay. So FND underscore installation underscore process is a table which contains information about the ongoing activities related to the worker. So if worker is doing so and so activity, so that will be recorded. That will be stored in FND installation process. So it will show you this is the SQL script which is executing. This is the procedure which is executing like that. So AD underscore deferred underscore jobs. So let us assume your worker, you are going to apply patch. 8 workers have been started. So one worker is executing one SQL script. Okay. So because of some issue, okay, because of some bug, that particular SQL package, SQL query is not getting executed. Let us assume one package is not getting executed in the database. So what happens? It will try to re-execute the package. Still, it is not. Still, it is not able to uh, execute the statement. What happens is, so it will move the information to AD underscore deferred underscore jobs. So what I'm going to tell you is FNA underscore install underscore processes is a table which contains information about the ongoing activities about the workers. AD underscore deferred underscore jobs is a table which contains the information about the failed jobs. If any job got failed, it will contain information in AD deferred jobs table. Okay, like that. So FNA install process is used to store the information about the job given to the workers. So AD patch creates these table and assign each worker a unique ID and inserts a row for each worker. So if there are 8 workers, so it will insert 8 plus 1 worker. Okay. So with apart from these workers, there is one more thing called as manager. Okay. So there is a manager who manages all these workers. Okay. So for all these workers, if there are 8 workers, 8 rows plus 1 row, 1 row for manager. So 9 rows will be inserted into fn install underscore process table. This table serves as a staging for the job information. It contains whatever the activity is being taken care by AD patch. It contains the information. So this is very important table. Okay. So once
Santosh,
all the jobs are
can
come, yeah.
can have a look at the table?
See, that
Looking
is what
at
I
the
am
table.
telling. Here, what AD patch is doing again. So what it is doing? Dropping this table, dropping this table. Okay. So your AD patch will, whenever you are trying to apply a patch, so first AD patch, whenever workers are going to start, your AD patch will create these two tables in the database. Okay. So whenever your workers got quit, your AD patch will drop these two tables. Okay. Are you getting? These are not permanent tables. These will create. This will get created when you start AD patch, and this will get dropped when AD patch got finished with worker job. Okay.
Okay.
So AD underscore deferred underscore jobs is a table which contains information about the deferred jobs. It means jobs failed to run. Any job got failed to run, any SQL statement got failed to execute. That information is going to store under AD underscore deferred underscore jobs. So if any worker failed, then it will get updated in this table. This, this table is created when the fnd install process table is created and is dropped when the fnd install process table is dropped. Okay. So I am asking you one question. So now there is a worker. Okay. So if you want to see worker related information, so to which table you have to query? You have to query fnd underscore install underscore process table. Is it correct or not? So by the time you query, your AD patch will finish its job. Okay. So to query these two tables, okay. So whenever, see, just listen carefully. This is very important. So whenever any background kind of workers have been started, okay. So are getting whenever any worker related information is started, so your AD patch will create these two tables. Okay. To fetch the information from these two tables. Okay. So you are supposed to uh, fetch the information from these two tables. Okay. But you won't write any queries to fetch the information. There is a tool called as ADCTRL. Okay. There is a tool called as ADCTRL. So with the help of AD controller utility, with the help of AD controller utility, you can fetch the worker information. Okay, you can fetch the worker information. Okay, so I'm asking you one question. Worker information is residing at where? fnd install underscore processes table. So as of now, fnd install underscore process table is existing in the backend. It is not existing in the backend because there are no workers running, right? There are no workers which are running as of now. So at this point of time, if I try to fetch information, it means if I give option 1, show worker status, what it will show? So the fnd install process table does not exist. This table is used for communication with the worker processes, and if it does not exist, that means the workers are not running. So to get some more clear information on this, I'll start one more session and I'll run AD admin. Okay, system is very slow. So I'm going to generate, run some options. I'm going to generate report file. I'm giving total workers as 60. Not all products. I'll do it for only one product. See what it is doing. It created fnd underscore install underscore process and it started workers. See, assigned file on worker 1, on worker 2, 3, 4, 16. We have given 16 workers, right? So 16 workers have been started. Now, if workers are started, what happens in the backend? The tables, two tables will get created. So I am giving ADCTRL utility. Show worker status. See, now it is showing me the worker status. Why? Because there is a background table. In the background, a table got created named fnd install underscore process. So your ADCTRL is a utility which is fetching the information from fnd underscore install underscore processes table and AD underscore deferred underscore jobs table, and it is displaying to you directly. You don't need to write any queries in order to fetch information from those two tables. Okay. So there are a couple of things what you can do with the help of ADCTRL. So if you want to show worker status, select option 1. If you want to tell worker to restart a failed job, let us assume one worker got failed. Okay, one worker got failed. So if you want to restart that particular job, you can tell worker by option 2. Enter the worker numbers range. So you want to inform the same to all the workers or only one worker? Only one worker. This is just an example. One worker. See, AD controller error. Worker 1 does not have status failed. So what it is showing, what it is telling, tell worker to restart a failed job. It means if any job got failed, if you want to tell worker to restart the failed job, then you have to select tell worker to restart a failed job. Okay, but as of now, no status. See, every status is running. Are you seeing any status as failed? No. So that's why it is throwing error, AD patch error. Next, tell worker to quit. If you want to quit workers, I am going to third option. So I am quitting. So I'm going to quit from 9 to 16. See what control code changed to quit for worker 9, worker 10, 11, 12. So it is finishing its job and it is changing the control code to quit. Now show worker status. 8 have been quit. So from 9 it is getting quitted. It is waiting, running, completed. All have been have been quit and it is done. These statuses are waiting and these statuses are running. This is how you can manage with workers. Restart a worker on the current machine 6. So 9 to 16. There is some error. The table got finished. I think the activity has been completed over here. So once the activity has been completed over here, what happens? It will drop the two tables. So if the two tables got dropped, can you get the information from uh, ADCTRL? It's not possible. So that is what it is. That is why it is thrown the error. Are you getting the point or not? So just listen carefully. I'll explain the whole process once again. Okay. So whenever just listen carefully, whenever you are going to start AD admin or AD patch, okay, so these AD admin and AD patch will start workers to do the background activity. Okay, so these workers information will be stored. Okay, so whenever these workers are going to start, so your AD patch will store these workers information in two tables. So the two tables are FNE install processes and AD deferred jobs. Okay, so your workers will uh, these two tables will get created when the workers are started. So these two tables will get dropped when the workers have quit. Okay. So to fetch the information from these two tables, we don't need to write any queries. In fact, we have given a tool called as ADCTRL. Okay. So ADCTRL is a utility using which you can manage the workers. So if you want to see the workers, you can see the workers. If you want to tell worker to restart a failed job, you can tell that. If you want to tell worker to quit, you can quit. Like that. If you want to tell manager that a worker failed its job, you can tell it. So if a worker acknowledges quit, you can tell it that, like that. So these kind of activities you can manage. You don't need to write update and select queries from that. Okay. So that is what ADCTRL is for, and that is the reason. That is the significance of these two tables. Okay. So your FND install type process table contain information about the workers, activity of the workers, and ADD for jobs table contains the information about the failed jobs. Okay. Next, how to apply patch in multi-node environment. So running auto patch in multi-node environment with shared Appletop. So when you have shared Appletop, okay, so you are supposed to run patch only for one time. Okay. So what is shared Appletop? Shared Appletop is nothing but see, I'll just explain you what is shared Appletop again. So as of now, I'll just take an example. So if you are having three node application. That means if you are managing your applications with three nodes, let us assume Apache Forms in two nodes and concurrent in one node. You are managing your applications in three nodes, right? So to run Apache and Form server, so what does it require? It requires one Oracle home. It requires all the product tops. It requires a common top. In the same way, to run your concurrent managers, what your concurrent manager requires? It requires one Oracle home to store its binary. It requires the some AppleTop files and all these things, right? So it means, so if you are managing your applications in three nodes, so you are going to install your Oracle applications in three nodes. It means your AppleTop, Common Top, Text 10.1 to 10.13 in one node, and same things in three nodes. Like you will be having AppleTop in three nodes, you'll having Common Top in three nodes, you'll having 10.12 in three nodes, 10.14, 10.12 in three nodes. But if your application is shared AppleTop, it means if you configure your application as shared AppleTop, you don't need to install AppleTop in three nodes. So you have to install, you will install AppleTop in one node and you will share that particular AppleTop to other nodes. So that what happens? So other servers from other nodes will be using the same shared Oracle application. Okay. So in the shared AppleTop environment, you are supposed to apply patch only for one time. Okay. Without shared AppleTop, it means if your multi-node environment is without shared AppleTop, then what you have to do? You have to apply patch for three times. It means three now. Okay. So to reduce these kind of activities only, they have come up with shared AppleTop. So if your AppleTop, if you're having Oracle applications in 10 nodes, then you have to apply patch for 10 times. Okay, which will be very hectic maintenance activity. If you are going to apply 20 patches, what? 20 into 10, 200 patches you are going to apply, which will be a hectic task for a DBA or developer to manage the application. So to overcome these things, they have come up with shared AppleTop. Shared AppleTop is nothing but they will install applications in one node and they will share the resources of the application AppleTop to other nodes so that the Apache server and concurrent manager server which are residing in the other nodes can access the applications which are shared. Okay. So nowadays, no one is without shared AppleTop. Everyone is going with shared AppleTop. So I don't see any customers without shared AppleTop now. Is it clear?
Santosh,
Your voice is not clear, Prakash. So how to reduce downtime while applying patches? Okay. So see, like some businesses will be very critical. Okay. So some customers businesses will not be that much critical. Okay. So if let us assume your business is critical and you don't like you are into banking applications. Let us assume you are into ATM applications and kind of things. Okay. So at this point of time, you don't want to give more downtime to your applications. It means you want all your end users to access your applications all the time. Is it correct or not? So at this point of time, if you want to apply patches, if you want to apply 20 patches within 1 hour of time, so is it practically possible for you to apply 20 patches in 1 hour of time? If you go in normal patching procedures, with normal patching procedures, it's not possible to apply. So there are some options, there are some methods to reduce the downtime for patches. Okay. So by using AD merge patch, by using AD merge patch. So the second one is by using AD patch options, by using shared AppleTop. So shared AppleTop, with the help of shared AppleTop, we can obviously reduce the downtime because when the applications are shared, what happens? You don't need to apply if your applications are three node, you don't need to apply in three node. You can apply it in one node like that. Okay. Apart from this, there are a couple of methods too. I'll discuss. So AD merge patch. So AD merge patch is one of the AD utility. It is also residing under AD top bin. So which is used to merge multiple patches. Okay. So let us assume there are 10 patches. Okay. So for 10 patches, what you have to do? You have to unzip 10 patches. You have to go to each and every directory once. So you have to give enter for a couple of things, and then you have to think. At last, what happens? It will take some time for compiling and all these things, right? So with the help of AD merge patch, you can skip all these things. You can merge the 10 patches into a single patch. Okay. With the help of AD merge patch, you can merge 10 patches into single patch and you can apply that single patch in the application so that the 10 patches will be applied in the applications. So you can read the question. When patches are applied individually, auto patch tasks such as responding to prompts and linking executables must be performed separately for every patch. If you are applying 10 patches, you have to do it for 10 times. This can be time consuming and prone to error. So an alternative is to use AD merge patch. This utility merges multiple patches into a single patch, allowing you to reduce patch application time by eliminating the tasks you would otherwise have to perform for each individual patch. Is it clear? So it will reduce the multiple tasks for you. Okay. I'll tell you what would be the task. So, but to merge the patches, okay, to merge the patches, there are some constraints. There are some constraints. Constraints are nothing but restrictions. So, we should not merge base language patches with NLS language patches. We should not merge ATG patches with non-ATG patches. We should not merge tech stack patches with application patches. We should not merge AD and FND patches with other patches. Okay. Are you getting the point or not? So we should not merge base language patches with NLS patches. We should not merge ATG with non-ATG product patches, and we should not merge tech stack patches with application like 10.1 to O patch patches with AD patch patches like that. So moreover, if there are language patches for your applications, it means so if your customer if your customer also installed Brazilian language, so first how to apply your patches? First you have to apply the base patch. It means first you have to apply the US patch. Always the US language patch will be the base language patch for entire patches. Okay. So first you have to apply the base patch and then you have to apply the Brazilian patch. Okay. So your patch will fail if you directly apply Brazilian patch. Okay. So the reason is you didn't apply your base language patch. First what you have to do? First you have to apply base language patch and then apply language patch. So next, how to merge patches. So I will show you an example to merge two patches over here. So here only I will merge it. Okay. Here only I will merge it. So let us assume the patches. Patches. Okay. Okay. So here at the place where you are having the zip file. Okay. So unzip the patches first. Unzip star.zip. Okay. Unzip star.zip. After unzipping the patches, what happens? You will be getting two directories, right? So you will be getting two directories. I think this is a big patch.
Done it with a root user, right?
No, no, I am doing
You
it.
are in a root user now.
No, no, I am doing it with Apple MGR.
Okay, so patching should be done through the APPL MGR only.
Yes, yes,
If you're
yes.
doing application patching.
You have to do application patching using application Unix user.
Okay, okay.
This is a very big patch. I think this is a rough patch. No? Oh. So let it get unzipped. So see, the syntax is AD merge patch hyphen S source directory hyphen D destination directory. That's it. Nothing more than that. So hyphen S source directory. So if you are going to apply 10 patches, okay, just listen carefully. If you are going to apply 10 patches, you have to unzip the 10 patches and you have to keep the 10 patch directories. Okay, after unzipping, you'll get a directory, right? You have to copy all the directories to source directory. Let us assume your source directory is the name of your source directory is source. The name of your destination directory is destination. But this is for an example. You can keep whatever you want. Okay. So after unzipping the directory, after unzipping the patches, copy the directories to source and don't copy anything to destination. Okay, nothing is there to do. So and just execute this AD merge patch hyphen S source hyphen D destination. So your AD merge patch will collect information, will take information from the source directory and it will merge the patches and it will write the output file to destination directory. Okay. So one unified driver, okay, one unified driver will get created in the destination directory. So if you apply, while applying AD patch, if you submit this unified driver file, what happens? Your AD patch will apply all the merged patches. Oh my god, why is this taking this much time to unzip? So when we are discussing about AD merge patch, I said like we have to unzip. We have to unzip the patches.
So just we're not able to see your desktop.
One second, okay. So I'm just showing you how to merge the patches as of now, okay. So as I said, like whenever you download the patch, so you have to unzip the patches, whatever you want to merge, okay. So in this example, I'm just taking the patch, two patches as an, two patches to merge. So when I unzip the two patches, I have got the two directories, okay. So if you want to merge the patch, okay, if you see the document, so if you want to merge the patch, you have to create two directories. One is for source and the other is for destination, okay. So to create two directories, mkdir source dest, okay. Now copy all the directories what you want to merge. So if you see in the source directory, there are two patches, right? Now come back. Okay, so now you can remove this. You'll get confused. So what have you done? So you have unzipped the patches and you have placed it in the source directory, right? Now I'm giving the syntax AD merge patch hyphen S source hyphen D dest. What it is doing? So it is going into two directories. It is going into two directories. It is processing the files and it is merging them, merging the two unified drivers. Okay. Now what about the merged one, merged file? Okay, so if you see in the destination directory, you will be seeing the unified merged driver. This is nothing but view underscore merged.drv. So next time when you are applying patch, so you have to submit. So for, you have to submit this driver file in order to apply these two patches. Okay. So the thing is, just listen carefully. What I have done, I'm telling you once again. You have downloaded the patches, whatever you want to merge. So you are unzipping the patches, whatever you want to merge. You are creating two directories, source and destination. Copy the directories to the source. So once you copied the file directories to the source, then just issue the command. Issue the command add merge patch -s source -d destination, so that whatever the directories, whatever the patches you kept in the source file, source directory will get merged, and the output file will be placed in the destination directory. Okay. So once the output file is placed in the destination directory, you will be seeing the u underscore merge.driver file. So this is the unified driver. This is the unified driver which contains the contents of two patches. So next time, whenever you are applying the patch, you are applying the patch. So it is asking you for the driver file. So which driver file you will give? U underscore merge.dm. So what it is doing? It is applying the patches. The same patches it is applying, whatever that you have merged. Okay. So this is the way how you merge. So once you are good enough with this merging, I'll show you one more option with this merging called as merging patches with manifest file. Okay. Next, AD patch options. So as we have some options in AD patch, sorry, O patch. So for AD patch also we will be having some options. Okay. So the options would be AD no compile DB, no compile JSP, no auto config, no auto patch, hot maintenance mode, no copy portion, no data push. What are all these things? Okay. So you want to see all the options available with AD patch. This is one. The patches have been applied successfully. Now you can check for the log file. The error from the log file. So you don't see any error. .lgi file. There are no errors in the lgi file and there are no errors in the log file. I'll ask you one question. Okay, leave about that as of now. So if you see AD patch option, so if you give AD patch help equals to y, you will be seeing all the options which are associated with the AD patch. Okay. So what are all these options? So as I already discussed, whenever you are applying a patch at the end, okay, at the end, your AD patch is going to compile all the invalid objects in your database. Let us assume there are 200 invalid, there is a count of 200 invalids in your database. So after applying a patch, your AD patch will try to compile each and every invalid object. Okay. So which may take some long time, which may take long time. Let us assume we are going to apply 20 patches. So 20 times what it have to do? It have to 20 times it have to compile the invalid object, which is which will take a lot of time to compile. Okay. So to overcome this, what we will be giving? So there are options for the AD patch. So we can give these options to reduce the downtime. Okay. Listen, this is important. Okay. So options. These are the generic options passed to AD patch. Okay. So compile DB. So to compile invalid objects in the database
Adarsh,
after
can you
running
please increase your volume? It's a bit low.
compile DB. So when
So,
you
thank you. I'm clear now.
so to compile invalid objects in the database after running actions in the database driver, default compile DB. Okay. So what is the default option? The default option is compile DB. It means if you don't specify any option which is related to compile DB, your AD patch will take the default option. So the default is compile DB. It means if you don't specify any option related to compile, it will compile. In the same way, compile JSP. So JSP compiling is also done sometimes when any Java related coding is being added to the Oracle applications. Your patch itself will compile the JSP pages in the Oracle applications. So if you don't want to compile these JSP pages, you can give options equals to no compile JSP. The default option is compile JSP. It means if you don't specify any option, it will compile by default. Copy portion. Default is copy portion. Database portion. Default is database portion. Generate portion. The default is generate portion. If you want to skip these things, see, I'm asking you, compile DB is the default one. If you don't specify any option, it will compile the invalids, right? So if you give no compile DB, it will skip compiling the invalid objects.
Can you explain again, Santosh? If you give no compile DB, it will, still compile the invalid DB objects, is
No,
what you're
no,
saying.
it will not compile the invalid objects. If you give no compile DB, it will not compile the invalid objects. It will skip
Okay.
compiling invalid objects. Okay, just you have to pass like this. AD
Okay.
patch.
So by default, it will do all this, these things, right?
Yes, by
Whatever
default it
is
will do
required, by
all these
default,
things.
it will do.
Yes. So if you want to skip them, you can give AD patch options equals to no compile DB. Okay, comma options equals to no compile JSP. What happens now? If you give like this, it will not skip. It will skip compiling the database objects. It will skip compiling the JSP pages like that. Okay, so if you are skipping the compiling the invalid objects, what happens? Obviously, obviously the time which takes to apply the patch will get decreased. So this is the way how you can reduce the downtime of your patch. Okay, so if you want to skip compiling database object, you can skip, you can give options equals to no compile DB. If you want to skip compiling JSP pages, if you can give no compile JSP. If you want to skip running autoconfig, so initially I said whenever required your AD patch will also internally call autoconfig. So this is the way, like if you want to keep running autoconfig will generally take 20 to 25 minutes in a normal database. It may take up to 2 hours also sometimes. So your AD patch, if you want to skip autoconfig, you can give AD patch options equals to no autoconfig. If you give this option, AD patch will not run autoconfig in applications. The default value is autoconfig like that. So AD patch options equals to hot patch. So with the help of this, so what are you doing initially in order to apply patch? You are bringing down the applications, you are putting applications in maintenance mode, and then you are applying the patch, right? So if you don't have downtime, you should never use this option. Okay, you should never use this option. So in order to apply a patch when applications are up and running, you can use options equals to hot patch. Okay. The default is no hot patch. Are you getting the point or not? See, let us take an example of GDF patch. GDF patches you can apply using hot patch mode. Okay, but it is not recommended. I mean, you can apply patches without shutting down the application with the help of options equals to hot patch option. Okay. Next, options equals to maintenance mode. See what? Yes,
Santosh, what is the GD? Which patch you can use with Arts patch?
GDF patches. GDF, generic data fixes.
No, generic database generally it will be only sequels, right? In that,
Yes, yes,
so you can direct.
yes.
No, no, that time you don't require to use AD patch, na?
No, no, you are supposed to apply GDF patches also using AD patch only. You'll apply
Okay,
GDF
no
patches.
manual run.
No, no, you should not manually copy any files. If you manually copy, who
Okay.
will take the backup of existing files?
Mm-hmm.
You can take it for
Okay.
a couple of files, but if it is going to copy 20 SQL files, what happens? So you are supposed to
Okay.
apply generic patches also using AD patch only. Okay. But
So AD
moreover,
patch when it apply? Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, please.
yes, yes, you can ask your question.
Yeah, see, AD patch, when you invoke the AD patch, the required files where it is applying, initially it will take a backup first.
Yes, where it will
Automatically it
take
will take.
it will take backup into the same directory where we unzip the file. So if I'm applying patches over here can you see any directory named backup? No.
No.
And for this patch, I will unzip. Here you can see any directory named backup. I'll apply this patch now. One second. It is asking to continue previous session. See what it is doing? It is compiling invalid objects. Have you seen? Backup folder is
It is not using UTLRP, na? It has its own script.
it is UTLR CMP. There is some other. It is
Okay,
not
from
UTLR.
application.
It is some other. Same. It is
Okay.
UTLR CMP.
Okay.
So we are applying the the patch again, right? So that is why. So there is. It is not taking any backup because it is keeping all the files. Are you getting the point or not? So I have already applied this patch is already applied in the applications. I am applying the same patch again. So that is the reason why it is skipping to copy the files, as the version in Oracle applications and the files patch are same. Are you getting the point or not? So previously I applied the same patch which copied files to the applications. Now I am applying the same patch which have to copy up files to the applications. When we compare the file version in applications and patch, both will be same. When both files are same, it will not copy the files. So if it is not copying the files, it will not take the backup of the files. So it will only take backup of the file when it is going to copy the file. Anyhow, see, it will create a directory like this backup. It is taking the older files, July 12th file. It is taking backup of July 12th file. Have you seen? Are you seeing this? It means it is taking the backup of old files and it is copying the new files to the applications. So this is how it will create a directory called as backup in the patch itself. But see, I'm asking you one question. So you have any idea about patch storage, dot patch underscore storage? Probably you might be having some knowledge on it.
What is that, Santosh?
Dot patch underscore storage.
No, no, Sandesh.
No. Okay, I'll ask you one question. So you are applying one OPatch. Okay, so let us take an example of RDBMS Oracle Home. You are applying one patch using OPatch. Okay, so you will you realize that this is not the correct patch and you just want to roll back it. Okay, so can you roll back OPatch?
Yes.
Yes, you can roll back the OPatch, right? So if you are rolling
Yeah.
back the OPatch, what does it mean? It means that you are restoring the older files to the present location, older files to the location, right? So where do you think the old files are getting stored? So there is one
The
directory.
patch might be, taking backup of this.
Yeah, yeah.
To, the patch, while applying the patch,
Okay.
OPAC utility is, keep, backup of the files which are, going to get replaced or,
Okay, where it
see,
will take backup?
uh, to run that, if you see that OPAC will, that's always in work,
There is a directory called as dot patch underscore storage. Okay. So where is it? Under your RDBMS Oracle Home, there is a directory called as dot patch underscore storage. So whenever you are applying any patch using OPatch, the backup files will be taken and kept in this location. Okay. So whenever you are trying to roll back the applied patches, so the older files will be coming from the dot patch underscore storage to the Oracle Home. Okay. If you go to dot patch underscore storage, you can see what are the files available over there. See, these are the patch numbers, and you have applied it on the so and so date. If you want to roll back this patch, patch rollback, we have to source it. Okay, like our applications might cause some issue, like our database might cause some issue if we roll back. So we will try to apply a new patch and we will try to roll back it. So whenever you apply any patch, so one directory will be created in the dot patch underscore storage with the patch number, date, what you are installing, and the time. So whenever if you want to roll back the patch, the older files will be coming from this location. Okay, this is only for your database. So coming to your application, your applications doesn't contain any dot patch underscore storage kind of thing. Your applications will create a directory named backup where you unzip the patch. Okay, so in the patch directory itself, a directory named backup will get created. So in that backup directory, the old files will get stored. Okay, so if you want to roll back any application patch, it is practically not possible for a DBA to roll back. It is practically possible for a DBA to roll back, but it is a very hectic task. So you have to go for backup directory. After going to backup directory, you have to go to each and every file and you have to check the location of the file and you have to restore the file, which will consume lot of time. Okay. Moreover, you can only restore the application level files. You will not be able to restore the database level queries which got already executed. Okay. So this is one thing what you have to consider while going for patching. So your options equals to no compile DB will,
Santosh, I
yes,
have one question. So in this scenario, as you said, there is a no rollback option. So every time whenever you do apply patch, we need to take a backup of application as well as database.
see, backup of database, if it is 1 terabyte, so how much time it will take? Applications, if you want to take application file system backup, it will take 6 hours. So you, in order to apply one patch, you will take you will take 10 hours of time to take backup of the application. It's practically not possible. So what you have to do is you have to make sure you are having the
Hmm.
latest recent backup of the
Yeah.
application. Okay. And moreover, there are sometimes like it will create one script in order to restore the backup file. So when you execute on that script, if, like let us take an example of backup.sh. So if you execute that backup.sh, all the application level files will be restored. Okay, all the application level files will be restored. So these are the options in order which are provided from ADPatch in order to reduce the patch downtime. So one is no compile DB, no compile GSP, no auto config, hot patch. See, I'm giving you one example. You are going to apply 10 patches. So instead of giving compile option for 10 types, for the first 9 times, you just give options equals to no compile DB. And for the 10th time, it means whenever you are applying patch for the 10th time, you just go with the default option. It means you just go with AD patch options equals to compile DB. So that what happens? All the invalidates will get compiled in the last patch. Okay. Let us take an example of autoconfig. So out of 10 patches, assume 5 patches are running autoconfig. So let us take autoconfig takes 1 hour of time to run in your application. So 5 hours, what happens? You need 5 hours of downtime, right? So autoconfig, if you run it for 1 time or 2 times or 3 times, it is same. Okay, there won't be any changes if you run it for 1 time or if you run it for 2 times. So what you have to do is to skip autoconfig for nine times for the first 9 patches, and for the last patch you just give options equals to autoconfig, or else you just leave it as it is. So the default is options equals to autoconfig, right? So for the last time it will run autoconfig. What happens in the last time? So whatever the configuration level changes it want to do, it will do. So you are saying 4 hours of downtime. So this is just an example. So to reduce the downtime. No copy portion, no database portion. So if you just want to skip database portion, let us assume if you don't want to execute the SQL files which your patch is bringing, you can give AD patch options equals to no database portion. If you don't want to perform generate portion, if you don't want to generate any application level files what the patch is bringing, you can give AD patch options equals to no generate portion, like that. Okay, generally people will be never going with no copy, these three options. So if you give no copy portion, it won't copy any files. So if patch is not copying any files, it is waste applying the patch. If you are giving no database portion, it is waste applying patch, because if there is no database portion given, so the database level files will not get executed. So the generate portion, so if you give no generate portion, the application level files will not get regenerated. So if you don't give this option, it's waste applying patch. So people will ever go with these three options. In fact, people will be going with the above option. If there are bulk patches which you are, when you are applying bulk patches, people will be going with these three patches. If you are not having downtime and if you are applying a basic interim patch in your non-production instances, you can go with hot patch, but this is not recommended. So if you apply a patch using hot patch, and after that if you face any issue, so Oracle is not going to support. Okay, so this is what we have to discuss over here. So we will discuss the other things in the next session. So the default file, it will take 10 to 20 minutes, not more than that. And how to apply prerequisite patch when main patch has been started. You just have to practice in order to understand. If you're having any questions, you can ask me. I'm just going through the patch once again.